स्मरामि वसिष्ठवामदेवादिवन्दितमहागणपति.
Communication will be the biggest challenge because you are speaking and you're comfortable with one language and people there are comfortable in speaking in another language. So what do? We make the effort. We make the effort to learn the language. We make the effort to learn how to pronounce words. We make the effort to understand the vocabulary a little better. But when it comes to English, what do? Do we take the same effort at all times? No, why? Why will we not take that effort? We are already familiar with the language. Yes, it's not an unknown language, it's not a foreign language for us. Right? But still, at the same time, we sort of struggle with this. So we're going to talk today about the 21st century skills. What are 21st century skills and how does language play such an important role in developing these skills? So this is what will change. So we're going to very quickly cover what are these skills, we're going to analyze them, find ways of how we can integrate this into our academic programs, into our colleges, our schools, and we will talk about the last part, which Sir was also talking about, is how can you benchmark this? Because it's not enough for me today to say that I have strong or effective or impactful communication skills. If I have a certification, if I have some standard accreditation from, let's say, a governing body or anything that sort of anybody or any organization that is an expert in this field. We know, of course, Cambridge is one of them, and there are multiple people who do this equally well, right? Because it's a very, very big, vast sort of a field. So, we're going to talk about the skills, we're going to define the skills, and we're going to talk a very important part about how does English play such a critical role in this, right? And then we'll, of course, leave some time open for questions. So, this is food for thought for you. What do you see on the left? These are the top companies in the world in 1990. And on the right, what do you see? The top companies in the world in 2020. So this is a Forbes list which comes out very frequently, highly respected, takes into a lot of parameters when it says, oh, this is the top company or this is the number one in the world and so on and so forth. What is striking? What is striking right now? What do you see?
Center.
Just read both of them. What did I do? I did something. Is it me or is it someone else? Okay. Alright. So we'll go back a bit. And so if you look at this list and if you look at this list, what's the difference? They are entirely different. And how much time did this change take place in? In just sort of 30 years. And I can tell you with a guarantee that if I come here in another 8-9 years and I say, okay, 2030, let's have a look at the list of 2030, what are you going to find? You're going to find even a bigger change. Because that is the only thing that we are assured of. We are assured that things will change, things will be different, some things will just get phased out, correct? I think the single most defining factor of what has changed our lives is this. What is in our hand, right? People don't even buy cameras anymore, unless you're a professional photographer or you're very fond of photography. Nobody really bothers to buy a camera because I have such a fantastic camera in my phone. Not in my phone, but I'm sure you all do. I have a very old phone. So things are changing, technology is changing the way we look at things and the thing we do. So what we need to do today and how we prepare ourselves today is going to impact our tomorrow. So again, these are jobs that didn't exist just 20 years back. We had never heard of the terms sustainability manager, or an AI engineer, or something called a cloud architect, correct? So I'm sure some of us here remember the days when we used to carry floppy disks. Then from floppy disks we got to USBs, and now we don't even need USBs anymore because everything is on the cloud. You just want your account to be linked and it is there. So many things have changed and so many jobs have changed. So what do we think about the jobs that are coming in the future? What will happen to those jobs? The most important thing is we don't even know what jobs there are right now in the future. We'll have new jobs, new roles, new requirements, and I think personally I feel the biggest game changer is going to be AI. How many of you have heard of ChatGPT? See, everybody's heard of ChatGPT, yes? And why have we heard of ChatGPT? Why do we know so much about ChatGPT? Because it's in the press, because it is doing something which is called disruption. Correct? There is a word in the industry which says disruptive technology. So ChatGPT is a very good example of disruptive technology. It is changing the way we think about even language, for that matter. So now we come to this question, which is a challenge in our country, and I do multiple sessions across India. And the biggest challenge that we find is that we have a very strong education system. We have very good teachers, faculty, we have facilities, we have laboratories, we have a lot. But the problem is that what the future demands is things like this, which may or may not necessarily be a part of every curriculum. And it is a challenge to integrate it. I will be the first one to agree that already there is so much to do, there is so much to teach, there is so much to learn. But these are some of the challenges which are not coming from us. This is coming from something called the Skill India report. This is not something I am telling you. This is something which is coming from an organization that specializes in looking at these things. So, which domains have more employable talent? While the slide has got a lot of data, we are just going to focus on, we know BA and BTechs, followed by MBA. And then you have a whole list of people who are considered not very employable. I wouldn't say they are considered unemployable, but they are considered not as employable as this. So we know BTech graduates and MBA graduates are. The challenge, the bigger challenge is not that this will always be there. Something like this will always exist. You will always have domains which will have higher job opportunities. You have heard of the acronym STEM? STEM, what does STEM mean? Somebody said it here. Can you be louder? Science, technology, engineering and mathematics or math. Yes. So we all know that STEM graduates typically have more job opportunities and more, let's say, more companies employ STEM graduates for that matter. The challenge is not that this exists. The challenge is like this, horizontally. So if you look at it from 52%, we have moved up only to 55%. For MBA graduates, we are saying 44% and we are seeing a bigger jump to 55%. But the rest is, some of them are going up, BComs going up, and these things will keep changing. The bigger worry is things like, let's say, B Pharma, which is going up, is that this ideally should be closer to our 80 to 90%, everybody agrees, right? That we know this is a challenge for us. That employable talent, when we talk about employable talent, we're talking about the people who will actually get the jobs and start working with organizations that they want to work with. So we are now going to watch a video, and I will have to just go to my system because it's a very heavy video and it doesn't get embedded easily. So we will watch a video and we will do a quick exercise now. So, full screen. So, what piece of information surprised you in this video? Was there anything which was a surprise? Was there anything that you agree with? उसको बंद कर दीजिए. Give me a minute. Browser close कर दीजिए. हो गया? Scenario. It is honestly a little scary also. Yes, as teachers, as educators, you all have a lot of responsibility for getting students future ready, and it is a lot more difficult when we don't know necessarily what the future will be. Correct? The rate of change of technology today is faster than anywhere, any time in history. The way technology is changing is. What happened to my slide? Sorry, 1 minute. What is it that you agree with? What is it that you agree with in this video? Is there anything that you agree with? Yes?
Teacher can play multiple roles.
Teacher can play multiple roles. Teacher needs to play multiple roles. And if teachers needs to play multiple roles, believe me students, you all also have to start playing multiple roles, because if your teacher is going to encourage creativity, you have to become a creative thinker. If your teacher is encouraging you to become a problem solving person, you have to have that mindset to become a problem solver. So the classroom is changing, which is good also. It's good also because earlier carrying a dictionary meant you had to carry a very heavy book with you. correct? And so there are of course huge benefits, huge advantages, but at the same time, a lot of challenges that will come with this. Anything that you would like to question in this video, that you feel, nahi, this is too much, it's something that...
Is technology going to substitute man?
Is technology going to substitute?
Human mind.
I doubt that, honestly. I really, really doubt that, because I know we all worry about AI, but I doubt if that will happen. The one way to look at this technology change is that AI is going to free you up from the mundane. It's going to free the human mind to be more creative and stronger and more powerful than ever. So it may substitute routine tasks, right? We know AI we know there are so many. There's Jasper.ai, which can help you create a business plan. There is Watson, which does a lot of paralegal work for the legal industry. The one place where you would be really surprised where AI is really used is which industry? And it affects all of us. It's the medical industry. Because there is so many tests that happen, so many scans that happen. The doctors are now actually relying on the AI to say, okay, these are the 3 possible diagnoses. Because it is just a matter of deduction. That okay, this test is throwing up this result, this test is throwing up this result. So if you combine them together, what is the diagnosis likely to be? So in my mind, I feel it frees up my doctor to think more about me rather than my disease. So yes, I think there is, and we've seen too many sci-fi movies, right? We've seen too many pictures which tell us that AI is bad, it's going to take over the world, but we are not there yet. Okay. So let's talk about a gentleman named Andreas Schleider. I hope I'm pronouncing his name right. We don't want to worry so much about what he has said. We want to worry a little bit more about where he is. He is at OECD. And he says that education today is more about problem solving, decision making, communication, collaboration, new technologies, and becoming active and engaged citizens. Now this tells us, now OECD is a think tank that advises governments. Alright, it is not a private, it's a private organization, but governments rely on its study, on its research to know more about what's really, really happening in the world. So while, can I please request all phones to be on silent, and any calls that have to be taken, unless they are urgent, because I think these days you have to be so careful. I'm not criticizing anybody, but in general, it is true across the world. You will find, I was talking to a lot of students, I think they're all specializing in cyber security, right? Correct? Cyber science. And you will typically find that data science, that the government is behind. The hackers have already 3 steps ahead. We are behind a lot of things, and it's typical of governments. So now the governments are looking at what is it that we can do, especially in countries with huge populations where we require many jobs, many careers to come up. So what are these 21st century skills? Let's have a look at them. Alright, and they seem to be never ending. Because we have problem solving, we have communication, information literacy, media literacy, citizenship, flexibility, social and environmental consciousness, business awareness, research and inquiry, ICT operations, and I think leadership and responsibility. How does one person have all of these? Is it possible? Is it possible for one person to possess all these skills? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes, I would say yes. But the degree in which you need the skill could vary. Correct? As a person who is in the communication field, I would probably need to know very basic of this, right? And be very focused on creativity and innovation, collaboration, information, media literacy, flexibility, right? So we all need a little bit. Think of this as a as a big sort of set of ingredients for which you need to cook different types of food, but you will not need all the ingredients in the same way all the time. But yes, you are expected to be creative, you are expected to be collaborative, and you're expected to be a problem solver. So now a very standard sort of question that is asked in many interviews across is this. That suppose now you're at the job, you are working, and your mother or your father has fallen sick. And you have a very important meeting at 10 o'clock in office. Okay. And what is it that you will do? It's a very simple challenge that will happen to a lot of us in our daily lives. A situation at home, whether it is a question of a parent being unwell or some other requirement at home, may clash with some professional commitment that we have. So there's a very important client meeting. One parent is very sick and needs to be taken to the doctor. Now, how I answer this question shows my problem solving ability. Correct? So what is the solution? What is the best solution? Yes, I can do the meeting on Zoom. I can do that. That is one solution. I can postpone the meeting, but if the client, so there are so many variables, right? If the client is coming from outside, then I cannot postpone the meeting. If it's a very critical meeting in the project, I cannot do it. I can request my manager to step in. I can ask someone, I can take my parent to the doctor and then ask someone to be at the home. So what your interviewer or your employer or your future boss is looking for is not whether you have the perfect solution, but the fact is whether you can think of this beyond a binary situation, that it is either work or the situation at home. Can you come up with a solution? The solution may not be perfect, and we know that the situation depends on a lot of factors, right? So many times we are not equipped to answer this because we look at problems as very binary, yes or no, can do or cannot do, will go to office or will not go to office. So we have to be very, very creative, and that is when we attach creativity to this. So now problem solving has got linked to creativity. And what is the point of having the most brilliant solution in my brain if I cannot express it simply and in a straightforward manner, which does not require too much of talk? So if I can say the same thing in 3 sentences versus 10 sentences, what is going to point to me to being a better communicator? The 10 sentences or the 3 sentences? The 3 sentences. So now what becomes important? Language. Which language? Which language is becoming important now? Yes? English is becoming important. And why? Because it is a global language. We like it, we don't like it, but one small island in the middle of a very big ocean has completely changed the way, over a period of a few hundred years, the way people look at language, right? So wherever you go, so that's why we know that translation, for example, for people from humanities, translation is a very big field for them, because if you know Japanese and you know English, then you have a huge sort of career opportunity there. So English then becomes probably the glue, I would say, that stitches it all together. How many of you have seen Pathan? Raise your hands. Only one. Only 2. My God. I am going away. This college doesn't like Shah Rukh Khan. I am going. Bye-bye. More hands, please. So what does he talk about? That gold that holds everything together. He talks about something, no? That when something is broken and there's something that stitches it all together. So think of language like that gold that he talks about. It's language that will help you stitch almost everything together in terms of a demonstration of skills. So now if I tell you, today we are going to study problem solving. How many of you will be excited about the class? Be honest. I can just see 1, 2, fewer number than even Pathan. Okay. So today I say, okay, we are going to talk about flexibility and adaptability, and I do really want to talk about these two words because we think of flexible as saying always yes. Correct? When we consider a person flexible if they always agree with us, no? But the moment that person disagrees, then we say what? Not flexible, doesn't adapt. So we assume flexibility and adaptability that okay, we'll say yes to everything. And if you say yes to everything, what is going to happen to your work desk at work? It increases. And at some point of time, what will happen? You cannot manage the work. And you are going to run into a lot of trouble. Right? So, flexibility means saying yes with a condition. Flexibility can also mean knowing when to say no. So tomorrow if you come and tell me, Ruchi, can you do a digital awareness seminar? I will say, no, thank you, it's not my forte, it is not my expertise. No, but we'll give you all the content, we'll give you all the videos. You just have to go and present. So now it becomes more difficult for me to say no, because you're doing all the background work for me. The presenter has gone away. So what do? So flexibility means how do I say no also matters. It isn't just about saying no, I will not do this. It is about I would love to help you out, but it is not my area of expertise. I will not be able to handle. Class at the back benchers, do you want to come and sit in the front? There's place here. I've been a school teacher and a college teacher also, okay? So don't try that out with me. If you are finding it challenging to pay attention, come in the front. Believe me, the proportion is very direct. People in front are forced to pay more attention. So come in front from the back. Can you move in? Quickly. I can see 4-5 seats here, 4-5 seats here. Quickly, move in from the back. We are waiting for all of you. Come on, students. All the students are enjoying the snacks. Yes? Do you know? You don't know what? So again, this is learning for you. Playing devil's advocate means that I'm telling you I'm going to play devil's advocate means I'm going to tell you the plus side and I'm going to also argue against. So till now, I'm arguing for teaching 21st century skills to students while they are at college. So if I go to the other side, I take their challenges and I say, there is no need for this explicit instruction. We can do it. Children will learn on their own. We learned it on our own. Right? Nobody taught me how to be a problem solver or how to manage resources well or how to manage with a limited budget, say for example at work. We need to focus on content because that is what students are here to learn. So if you're here to learn electronic engineering or computer engineering or data science or anything that each one of you is studying,